All right. For those of you watching this recording at home, thank you for being here. I'm going to have Adam share our screen. This is our opening for our monthly support meetings. We are meeting every month, and these meetings are free to join to get resources, research, and build relationships. Normally, we would ask people to introduce themselves in the chat box, but since we are just recording this today, please feel free to join our website, drop your information there. We would love to hear from you. The next slide is our welcome, where we would introduce ourselves. We can go ahead and jump past that to the staff page, which is our outreach support team. All of our profiles are uploaded on the website, so if you want to learn more about the staff, we have that information there. And I myself am Cassandra. I'm the host today. We also have Erica here and Adam, and we have a special guest today who will give a chance to introduce himself later on. The next slide is our new website. Missionsfield.org is now missionsfriends.com. You can still access missionsfield.org through the same URL, and it will redirect you automatically, which is the great feature that we love having as we transition to our new space. And please feel free to drop me a line if you want to. I'm the member coordinator if you have any questions about what that looks like moving forward. Please do still remember our web pages there so that you can get to know one another. So do fill out your profile. We've got some slides about what that looks like coming up, and it will be on missionsfriends.com. So you are one of our friends. You can join us through Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, or Apple. And the About section has not changed. The only update we have is that we've got a great profile of Alyssa Tersak. She is a friend of ours who has utilized the website to her best ability, and you can see all the information about her, how to reach her, professional links, all of that is accessible through our webpage, and is a really great example of how to use that to leverage your network most effectively. And there's also additional sections available where you can share more information, such as your ministry, favorite dessert, things like that. And you can also create posts. Please do, if you have a topic that interests you and you want to share it with your network, please feel free to use our network for that to share posts about something you're interested in. And the next slide is our agenda. So today is going to be a little bit different. We're going to move through pretty quickly. So that's the plus side of having it recorded, is you can rewind and fast forward as you see fit. But we are still going to evaluate churches and talk about what that looks like to impact the local families. And we want to equip our partners who are watching this video to be able to share outreach resources so that we can support churches to meet those needs. We also want to empower and highlight different stories in our community of churches that are impacting the lives of families. One today is of particular interest to me as an art teacher, so I'm pretty excited to hear from our friend. And then we are going to get missions fulfilled for our friends in the community so that we can follow up with a prayer that will impact Lansing area. Prayer is the gateway to heaven's ear. So I am going to hand it over to Erica, who is going to be talking about how to evaluate churches. So thanks so much.
Hello, I am Erica, and we are going to talk about evaluating the needs of local churches. You can go to missionsfriends.com and go right here to where it says share outreach needs. We have a survey there that you can fill out to just explain and express the needs that your church has for outreach. I think we can skip this part about posting the church's outreach, and I'm going to pass it over to Adam so he can talk about equipping.
Thank you, Erica and Cassandra, and welcome, Angela. So today we're talking about outreach in regards to the arts, and so we have two special guests. One is very special, as this is I'll say she's also a member of our team because she's going to share as a consultant some data and facts about why the arts outreach is needed. and how then we'll learn from Pastor Tom Arthur from Sycamore Creek, of how arts is being impacted through his church, Sycamore Creek. And so after that, we will also be able to share other resources that are going on in the community to help you serve people. And so without further ado, I'm going to reintroduce Cassandra Cole as a consultant. So this also means that if you are looking at your church, if you would like to find ways to meet and impact those in the arts community, Cassandra will be available to possibly help you find out what ways you can do that, whether it's partnership, whether it's volunteering, whether it's project or program that you guys want to implement, and so forth. And so, and Tom will also be able to share some ideas as well as he shares how his church, Sycamore Creek, has implemented that into the community. And so first, we'll hear from Cassandra, and then I'll pass it over to Tom.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. This is my first presentation as a consultant. I have met with several people already and have been getting great feedback, so I'm happy to be stepping into this role. And in order to do that, I needed to understand how art actually impacts the community. I've been teaching art classes at Michael's and independently since 2015. So I've had quite a bit of experience as well as some schooling. I intended to be an art teacher when I started college in 2005 and realized that I had a different route planned before me that got designed so that I could be more able to help the community at large. And so that is my goal. And what I have found is a study from TrendWatch. I accessed this library resource. It is published in Better Nutrition and at healthwatch.com. And it was talking about the Turnaround Arts program. And it's a program that was implemented as part of an attempt to prevent budget cuts from affecting schools that use art as a vital resource. And they were noticing that the scores were affected in the academic setting because of the lack of art, not just in Michigan, but nationwide. So this turnaround program did a study and they found that many of the benefits that various art forms provided were evident in the results of the scores that were shown. So it was spearheaded by the President's Committee on Arts and Humanities, and they were looking at visual arts, music, dance, and theater. They did the study between 2011 and 2014 in 8 elementary and middle schools. And these were schools that were the lowest achievers in their state, in the states that they did these studies. And they found that these art programs actually raised math, reading, and other academic scores and improved attendance and reduced discipline problems, and suspensions actually dropped by 89%. And I think I don't have to speak on it. I think most of us who have had our eyes open at all realize that Lansing schools are affected by a lot of trauma that is showing itself in acts of violence. And we have to encourage students to find a way to have hope in their heart. And I think art is a really great way to do that. And it said that Turnaround Arts is now in 49 schools in the country. And a lot of studies have found similar benefits. And in high school, the longer the students take art classes, the less likely they are to drop out. And that was a study by the Center for Fine Arts Education. So I can drop the website in the link if someone wants more information for the Turnaround Arts program. And just some solid statistics, the College Board found that in 2012, SAT scores were higher among students who participated in the arts programs compared to those who did not. And it depended on the art form. So for example, SAT scores were higher in critical reading by 66% from students who produced or acted in plays. And in math, the students who performed in music programs scored highest, up to 40%, 43% higher. And it was 68% higher scores shown in the writing portion of the SAT for students who acted in plays. So compared to students who took computer programming, for example, those in music performance scored an average of 9 points higher in math, which, if you think about it, doesn't seem intuitive, but I think it has a lot to do with the science of our brain's left and right hemispheres. And if you are exercising any muscle, it's going to get stronger. So I firmly believe that creativity exercises the right hemisphere of your brain, which helps you to also solve problems in everyday life, like math, for example, which, yes, we do still use math as adults, believe it or not, if there's any kids watching this. So those are the basic statistics that I found from the study, and I'd be happy to share more. If anybody wants to book an appointment with me, you can find me at missionsfriends.com. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Cassandra. Next, we'll hear from Pastor Tom Arthur.
Well, hey, mission friends. As Adam has said, I'm Tom Arthur. I'm the lead pastor at Sycamore Creek in the Lansing region. And I'm also the planting pastor of our new Eastwood campus. And Adam invited me to come and share what we're doing to reach out to artists and arts community. And it's maybe a little helpful to know a little bit about me and my background with the arts going into that conversation. But in undergrad, I went to Wheaton College and was both a psychology major. And then I got a bunch of minors or almost minors, but one of them was in photography. And so I am also amateur, I guess, at this point, photographer. I learned it back when, you had to do it all in the darkroom with chemicals and everything. So I never really learned digital photography until it started being on cell phones. When I was appointed in our tradition, pastors are appointed by the bishop. So I was appointed to Sycamore Creek as the second pastor following the founding pastor. It's not a job most pastors want. You get chewed up pretty bad in the first couple of years. But right around year 2 or 3, I realized that I didn't really know anybody in the community. I had spent all of my time in the church, which is what churches tend to do with their pastors, is they have this inner gravity that sucks you inward. So I went on this networking binge in the Lansing region, and I just started with the superintendent of Holt Schools, where I lived at the time, and set up a meeting with him. And then I said, "Who are your best principals? And would you mind introducing me to them?" And he did. And I met with them. And then I said, "Who are your teachers, or who are your best teachers? And would you introduce me?" And they introduced me to teachers and met with them. And along the way, I'm just meeting with them. I'm getting to know them, getting to learn what they do. When I met with the teachers, I said, "Who are some people in the community or parents I should know?" And basically, I don't know where the chain of networking went, but eventually I landed at the Lansing Arts Council, and I was meeting with the director at the time. I met with a bunch of people in the arts community, but at the Lansing Arts Council, as I was meeting with the director, Chad Swan Badgerow, who was at time on staff at the Lansing Arts Council, walked through the room, and the director said, "You should meet with Chad." Chad and I sat down for lunch. Sycamore Creek has 3 core values: to be curious, creative, and compassionate. So by curious, we mean you don't have to check your brain at the door. You can come with all your questions. Creative, we like to play jazz on traditions. And compassionate, we're going to show you compassion, or attempt to do our best to show you God's compassion in Jesus. So one of the things that when I met with Chad, besides just connecting, getting to know him, was I learned that he was the founder of Peppermint Creek Theater Company, and they were founded in 1995. They've been around for a long time, obviously, as basically a volunteer-run organization. At the time, they were meeting in the Miller Center right next door to North Elementary on Miller Street in South Lansing. And I was shocked. I was living in Holt, and I was like, "There's a community theater in South Lansing," and I was like, I gotta go to this. And so I looked it up, and I've loved attending theater. I'm not an actor. I've never been in theater, but my wife has been in a lot of productions as growing up and so on. So we started attending Peppermint Creek Theater's plays. set up another meeting with Chad and said, hey, been looking over your schedule. We've got these series coming up. I wonder if there's like a song or a scene or like an interview with the director that would emphasize what you all are doing and that would connect with our theme on Sunday morning, that we could like have a win-win for everybody. You could get, the word out more about this production coming up. We tap into the artists that are involved in Peppermint Creek. And Chad was just kind of blown away. He had never had a pastor come and ask him, like, can we help you with what you're doing? And can we tap into your themes? Long story short, Chad and I have become dear friends. He is one of my close friends in Lansing. Spent a lot of time with his family and him. And he has become a partner of Sycamore Creek, he and his family. And that's what we call membership, is partnership. People who are willing to partner with us in our mission of igniting authentic life in Christ and fanning into an all-consuming flame. So over the years, Chad's done a lot of things with us, both personally on stage and help us be creative. He's done a lot of things tapping into Peppermint Creek with us. We've hosted plays of theirs and probably about 5 or 6 other theater groups in the area or schools in our South Lansing campus and in our Potterville campus. So fast forward many more years, about a year and a half ago, Asbury United Methodist Church across from Eastwood Town Center, not to be confused with Faith Church, which is the one that everybody seems to know. This is Faith Church in Asbury. We're right next door. Asbury was struggling post-COVID. They were down to like 15 or 20 people. They approached us and said, what would you think about adopting us and becoming a campus of Sycamore Creek? And we'd already done this with a church in Potterville very successfully and helped turn that church around and revitalize it. So we said, yeah, we're interested in this, but we'd like to do something really different. That particular location and stage, the stage was huge. The location is fabulous across from Eastwood Town Center. It's really a regional location, but the stage was huge. And at the time, well, and still, I guess, well, not really, but Peppermint Creek Theater, and there's about 5 other community theaters that are homeless in Lansing. And I went to Chad and I said, hey, we're about to adopt this church. What would you think about, instead of us remodeling it to look like a church, if we remodeled it to be a performing arts center that would house your theater and other theaters in Lansing? Chad was, he had trusted me, long relationship, loves Sycamore Creek, but he's been in so many of these conversations before and they don't ever pan out, that he was very skeptical that this would happen. He's happy to have the conversation, skeptical that it would result in anything. And we just kept the conversation going. He said, basically, yeah, I would love to do that. We work with a local architect, Studio One Intrigue in Rio Town, and they came up with these renderings for what we could do with the space. And so this is the lobby. Get a little feel for this. And then here's the Performing Arts Center. It actually won't end up being colorful up front. It'll just be all black, like kind of like a black box theater. In fact, it already is. But we're in the midst of remodeling it. And it should be done in August, actually in just a couple of weeks. The thing that melted Chad's skeptical heart, as he said, was when we started talking to them, and I had my facilities guy would come to me and say, what do we want to do about this? And I'd say, just go talk to Chad. What do we want to do about this? Go talk to Chad. Chad's going to use this space more than we will. We're basically using our resources to build something for the community that we would then worship in. But the thing that melted his skeptical heart was, he said, is there any way we could have stairs backstage? And we looked at the expense of that, and it's going to be like $40,000 to $60,000 to cut through the floor and into the basement and put all the supports in. And we looked at what we had designed. This accordion glass panel was going to be about $40,000 to $60,000. Community theater groups would have to cover it up to manage the lighting. So we said, let's get rid of that. Let's take the 40 to 60 and put it in those stairs. So we took something that would work for us, and we decided to readjust like our budget, and we did something for local community theater that we'll never use. I don't need stairs backstage. I might do it one time, like walk up the stairs with fog machines and walk on music just for fun. But otherwise, like, so Chad says that those stairs and our willingness to like adjust big chunks of money for their needs was what melted his skeptical heart. So the short of it is that we have two local community theater groups. Ixion Ensemble and Peppermint Creek Theater are going to make it their home this season, and hopefully future seasons. We're not running the shows. We're just letting them use the space. We're also, and maybe this is sometimes one of the rubs for local churches, is we're not exercising any editorial control over what performances they're doing or the content that they do. I know Chad quite well. I know Jeff fairly well from Ixion. I've been to many years of Peppermint Creek. They do shows that deal with justice issues, and they can be rough at times, but there's not anything that I would have worried about them doing on our stage. So we put together, Chad had on his board, or has on his board, a press agent, Angela Minicucci, I think. It's like an Italian name. I could get used to having a press agent. She organized a whole press conference, and I'd like to share with you, because you're going to hear the artists in the community talking about what this means to them. And then you'll hear also one other person, because in the basement is a licensed kitchen, and that we've decided to turn that into an incubator kitchen for local food businesses. And we have a baker working out of that's been able to triple her business in the time that she's been in there. She wasn't able to be at the press conference, but her husband was there. But I actually think you want to listen to what her husband says, especially. It was really moving to me personally. So this is just a quick highlight video. It's about 3 minutes long of that press conference. Today, we are here to announce that happening in this soon-to-be remodeled Performing Arts Center will be the seasons of Peppermint Creek Theater and Ixion Ensemble hosting their next season. We're calling this Performing Arts Center Stage 1 at Sycamore Creek Eastwood. At Sycamore Creek, we have found that people haven't necessarily given up on God, but in many cases, they have already given up on the church. And this is in large part due to two reasons. One is because of the white church's silence on the issue of racism, and the church in general's exclusion or lack of full inclusion of LGBTQ people. We're a church that is fully engaged in anti-racism work in the Lansing region, and also fully affirming of the LGBTQ community. We wanted to create a campus in this adoption of Asbury United Methodist Church, where the building would then be an asset to the community.
So when Tom asked about a year and a half ago if we'd be interested in being part of Sycamore Creek Church's process of turning their new building into a performing arts space, I said sure, and I didn't believe him. To be standing in this building this morning has melted my cynical heart. And what it means for us as a theater company, and what it's showing not only me and our board, but what it's trumpeting loudly to the greater Lansing community.
It's an opportunity for us to embrace our community at large in a very different way, with a location to share space with great creators, great entrepreneurs, and create a space for voices to be raised.
As an arts organization, we've been around for 10 years, teaching the performing and technical arts in after-school programs for kids, elementary through high school. And to know that there is a space created for this next generation of creatives is absolutely wonderful.
This is what I would call a true Christian church. They are for the people, they are for community, and they prefer to walk and show instead of preach and condemn. They don't need to have a loud voice because their actions echo. So I call upon Lansing today, let your actions echo.
We hope to be a platform for artists and entrepreneurs and all people who are multiculturally curious, creative, and compassionate, so that we can keep the best of faith, the creative, the curious, the compassionate parts, and leave out all of the rest. To keep Jesus and to include justice as well.
So in the room at that press conference was about 30 people from the arts community across Lansing. And I've never stood and spoken to that community before, along with lots of news organizations as well. It was a really moving event. So we put together a grand opening in coordination with the local arts community. And you all are going to get a sneak peek.
16-year-old up there at the top of the screen in lane 1.
Oh. I forgot to
And his
hit
first
pause
you really just want to kind of control
on.
it. Just kind of relax, get into your stroke.
There we go. Sorry about that. It was going to like the swimming Olympics video on YouTube there. You all are going to get a sneak peek. We haven't actually made this public yet, the advertising for the upcoming grand opening. So here is what it's going to look like. One of the needs I think that we're trying to fill is, from what we understand, there's not 100 to 200 seat affordable community theater space for community theater groups. And so this is something brand new in Lansing. That things, like the Wharton is wonderful. My one kid went to the theater camp a couple weeks ago, take it from the top, had a spectacular time, but the stages in there are not stages that are affordable for volunteer community theater organizations. The Ovation, which is coming to Lansing, it's going to be beautiful. Lansing Symphony is going to be great. It's going to be a wonderful home for them. It's not going to be a place really that local community theater groups are going to be able to access financially. So we decided we're going to be it. And Eastwood Town Center is a fabulous location. You can go have dinner, go watch a play across the street, and go have a drink afterwards and talk about it. So on Thursday, September 28th at 4 p.m., we're having a Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting to open the building. Friday, September 29th, a Broadway Bash. Blaine Krause, who plays Hamilton, or has played Hamilton in the tour, is going to be performing that night on the stage, and it's going to be a catered dinner, and that's a ticketed meal. Saturday is going to be a coffee, cookies, and curated tour of the facility with a discussion led by the Arts Council of Greater Lansing on the state of arts in the Lansing region. That night, red carpet black tie gala. So come in your tux, come in your suit, come in your evening gown, step on the red carpet. It'll be local musicians who are performing from the stage, $25 ticket price. Hors d'oeuvres and drinks will be served that night. Sunday morning, October 1st, will be our grand opening worship service for our new Eastwood campus, followed by a youth musical performance of Lansing's upcoming Best and Brightest with a free barbecue lunch. So these are the various local community theater groups and so on, groups that are part of Stage 1 and what we're doing at Sycamore Creek Eastwood. We are finding then, as we are providing this platform for artists and entrepreneurs, that it is, as I'm launching a new campus, nobody in the community cares about Sycamore Creek launching a new campus. Like that, if that's all I was doing, they would just be like, "Oh, tell me something I care about." What makes the connection with the community is the building is becoming an asset to the community. And it is the amount of energy then that is going into the launch of our new church, our new campus, is just astronomically higher than it would be if we were only launching a campus and not a performing arts center and incubator kitchen as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom. There's so much that came to my mind. And I think for me, the ending thing that kind of lasted or sat was you're building that bridge to those who haven't not just heard, but encountered the love of Christ. So I'm grateful that your story is something that we can platform and share to help others learn how to build that same bridge in their communities, whether it's through schools, through arts, and so forth. And so, is there any questions anyone has regarding what Tom has shared? And if you're not here, feel free to also, if you're watching, we'll send this emails out. We'll also have some contacts in there so you can reach out to Tom, see how he can either support his event or if you want to learn more again. So if there are no questions, I'm now going to ask if others can share what resources you all have to help churches. There's no more questions, comments, encouragements. Yeah, and also actually I forgot to mention I was gonna actually invite the Arts Council to this meeting, but I forgot. But they have been in the past. I don't know how long ago, Tom, did you meet with Chad?
13 years ago, 12 years ago.
Well,
Yeah,
goodness.
he's not on the Arts Council staff anymore. He works
Oh,
for
yeah.
the Michigan Arts Council, something. He does grants for arts groups for the
Yeah.
state.
But that was like 3 directors ago. He was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been a great support. I remember in 2019, the Arts Council came to our conference to learn how to work with churches to help churches impact more of people through arts. So there, just because you mentioned Arts Council, and it's a beautiful story of how they worked with you all and are still even connecting you all to resources. That's just good to hear. And kind of to break the stigmatism that people don't want to work with churches. Like if we actually find ways to serve, I love how, Tom, you surveyed the community. You started with, I think you said the school superintendent, and went from teachers to families and then to the Arts Council. Somehow, God works in mysterious ways. And now this is the most unique outreach that I've seen in our community. And so I'm looking forward to seeing the fruit and the testimonies that come out of it and the lives that will be impacted.
Just as an example of working with Arts Council, they had a Artists Thrive Day. If you're familiar with that, that's worth looking up. I forget, it's artistthrive.com or .org or .net, something like that. And I went to it. By the way, I'm often the only pastor in the room in these arts networking events. I'm also almost always the only pastor at Chamber of Commerce events. So churches are not building relationships with the business community or with the arts community. Which I'm happy to be the only one there and like live in there, but it'd be great to see others there. Anyway, I was at this Artist Thrive thing, and it led to eventually, it was like, what needs to happen in the community for artists to thrive? And then we all worked on goals. And one of the staff members, current staff members of the Arts Council, Taylor Hazlitt, came up to me during the last time, and they wanted us to have what they called an accountability buddy. So an accountability buddy. I love saying that word. It's also kind of geeky. And Taylor came up to me and she said, what the goal that I've set is to do like to have more talkbacks on theater than just watching them. Like, she loves watching theater performing, but she'd love to have like community discussion afterwards. And she said, I think what you're doing with stage one is the place where that can happen. And I think you're the person, she didn't quite say it in this way, but I'm paraphrasing it. I think you're the person to help me do that. And so would you be my accountability buddy? And I was like, yeah, that's really awesome. I'm glad that you thought to walk across the room and talk to me about that. And that's what we're doing this fall. Is Peppermint Creek and Ixion are starting. Like, there's going to be one night in each of those. There are 2 shows where we lead a discussion afterwards on the themes. And Taylor's not connected to any church. I don't know that I would have had any relationship with her outside of that setting, but that she thought that our church was an asset to come and partner with to do this thing. That's exactly the kind of relationships we were trying to create. And then in those discussions afterwards, like, here's the pastor of Sycamore Creek. And I'm not there. I'm not like gonna do some evangelistic presentation because that's not what that's for. But they just see, again, a pastor being in this space who appreciates and supports the arts. And maybe I'd like to check out what they're about on Sunday morning.
Right. Yeah. Or even just come to their event on a weekday. Just build relationship. And that's what I love about it.
Yep.
And there's a lot of, because I go to a lot of these meetings, there is a lot of other ordained ministers and pastors incognito. But I think it's cool to be introduced as a pastor to people because a lot of times
I have my little
it's clear
badge that I wear whenever I'm
right. So
I'm
that's
currently fidgeting with.
and that's just a great way to represent pastors the right way, I would say, in those spaces. And so I know that there's others on the call that has resources, so I want to give some time to give you that.
I do have one question for Pastor Tom that I just thought of. I was wondering if you have any testimonies to share about how you've seen your style of ministry that's different than a lot of other churches result in people growing closer to God or becoming involved church members, and how does that work out?
Yeah. So are you talking about like specifically our connection to the arts? Or are you talking about the form of worship that we do on Sunday morning?
Just your ministry style in general.
In general?
Yeah, you say like,
Yeah.
I think it was Sarge, actually. I know Elizabeth and Sarge, but I think it was him that said that you don't condemn or preach and that sort of thing. So I'm just wondering if you have like any great testimonies to share about like, how that results in people getting closer to God or getting plugged into like a discipleship sort of thing.
Yes. So like I said in that press release video, there's a great deal of hurt that the church has done to people. And there's this huge movement right now, like, I don't know, ex-evangelical or deconstruction or like those sorts of things. And what's happened is over the last decade or so, there's been this sort of exodus from church amongst young people over the issues that I mentioned, the church's silence on racism and exclusion of LGBTQ people or lack of full inclusion. And we have found over and over again, like the bread and butter of, so to speak, of our church planting right now with this new campus are people who are the de-churched. They went to a church 10 years ago, something happened since the politics of 2016 and Trump and Trumpism and yada, yada, they've fallen out of the church. And I have had two in particular that I can think of who've said, I deconstructed my faith, but now I've been gone so long that I feel like I'm missing something. And Sycamore Creek feels like a place where I could reconstruct something, or I could now figure out what I believe. And actually, I mean, that I have that conversation so many times with people. I'm mentioning too, because it's just like in the last week and a half. There are two people who explicitly had that conversation with me that have not been, they have church backgrounds. One even has like some seminary background, but has not been going to a church in many, many years. And are now getting involved in volunteering in arts, using their arts, are participating in small groups that we have. We have a huge small group ministry. We probably have like 40 some small groups across our 3 campuses. And yeah, those are, I think about like a young woman in my church, and this is like somebody who's grown up in the church, but she's done a lot of theater, and she's reaffirming her baptism. It's like a confirmation, or you could call it an adult profession of faith in a couple weeks. I have another gentleman who his parents were involved in our church, but he was never involved, and then his mom died. When your mom dies, like you start thinking about like the big things in life and your own mortality. And he's all inked up, and he's a pretty gnarly guy, at least if you saw him. And he's having his son baptized in that same service. So those are all, I don't know, I could tell you lots more, but
Awesome, thank you.
You have to post more on missionsfriends.com.
Yes.
Make Erica happy and us. All right, well, I want to pass it over to Angela because I know she came later on after we started. If there's any resources, or you just like to introduce yourself.
So good afternoon, everybody. I am Angela Stepter, and I'm coming to you today representing Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church as the health ministry leader. And we are hosting an event on August the 21st. That's Monday, August the 21st from 5 to 7. And the partnership is with the Ingham County Health Department. And it's about helping to create a plan to prevent chronic disease in Michigan. So if you have a chronic disease, or if you are a caregiver of someone who has a chronic illness, this is an event for you. It's called a listening event. So being the Ingham County Health Department is bringing, they're bringing 2 facilitators from University of Michigan, and they want to hear from you. They want to talk about these things that are impacting you, because the state of Michigan wants to create a better, healthy state. So again, this event is for you. You need to pre-register. There will be dinner served, so you can come straight from work, head on over, have some dinner, listen, tell your story. They want you to share your story, and they are going to offer you not only free dinner, but a gift card, somewhere between $30 to possibly $100 gift card, depending on how many people register and attend the event. Transportation will be provided if you need it. So I'm going to ask Adam to put the registration link in the chat for me, if he would, please. And you can register, you can invite others to attend, because again, it's not a church event, it's a community event that happens to be hosted at a church. So it's open to everyone. I don't want anyone to ever feel like just because it's in a church, you are not welcome, because you most certainly are. So please feel free to come on in and listen and give your story. So we would look forward to having you there and hearing from you. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Angela. We'll put that link in the e-news we send out, so you guys can register or send it with others, share it to others. Is there anyone else that has any other resources?
I will share a couple resources.
Thank you.
On August 6th, Jubilee has our community conversations event coming up. This event happens almost monthly. And we talk about different topics about how we can impact disadvantaged community members, primarily people that are working to overcome homelessness through relationships. This month, or actually next month, August 6th, our topic is, I'm still working on the exact phrasing, but it will be like tips and pointers, and it's kind of set up like a support group. So it's not like one person speaks and we just listen to them, like we all share ideas and learn from each other. We're going to be talking about how to help people when you interact with them in the community and they're apparently homeless or really struggling. Just different resources you can share with them, and what's the most effective way to help them. So again, that's happening on August 6th at Lansing South Church of the Nazarene. And just one more reminder, we also have our annual community event coming up on Saturday, September 30th from 2 to 10 p.m. at the Fledge, where we will be celebrating the struggle of a local family that's working to overcome homelessness. And there'll be more information about that in the e-news as well. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you. I'll also share Anne Miranda. She's not here, but she's someone who's been working within the arts for our outreach, and she's probably been in some of the spaces Tom has been. And she's a member of Mount Hope Church, but she has an organization that I'm also a part of called Be an Icon, or Creative Icons. It's two names. Be an Icon is the Creative Arts Network on Facebook. You can find that on Facebook. And then Be an Icon is the organization. She might correct me. So regardless, she's been working with Mount Hope. They have an art squad. They go to arts events. They pray for the arts, I think every certain Friday, some Friday at the House of Prayer. So I just want to give her a shout out. And you can also find her on missionsfriends.com, where you'll be able to contact her as well. Her name is Brenda. Also, somebody's joining us by the name of Summer Reed, and she has an awesome art studio. She's going to talk about it as soon as she connects. It's perfect timing. Summer, welcome.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry I'm so late.
It's okay. I'm hoping you're ready to talk about Great Commission Studio, because now
It's just in time.
All right. Awesome. So my name is Summer Reed, and I'm the founder of Great Commission Studios, and we are a Christian 501c3 nonprofit dance school ministry with 2 locations, one in Hazlet and one in Grand Ledge. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
do you have any special resources or events or opportunities to help impact those within the arts?
Yes, I do. So right now, Great Commission Studios is looking for dance teachers and administrative help for both locations. And we just had an event in June called The Father of Lights, and we are looking to produce another one at Christmas time. And so we're also looking for artistic talent to help produce the next event happening in December.
That's great. I actually was supposed to call you Summer. I'm sorry I haven't yet. Hi, I'm Cassandra. Nice to meet you.
Goodness, it's so good to see you and get to talk to you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Anne Miranda gave me a lot of great information about your programs, and I'm really looking forward to our phone call soon. So.
Yes, thank you.
That is awesome. Well, I'm going to share a couple more resources.
I have one more thing, sorry. Summer didn't get excited enough about her last event that she had at the Wharton Center, the Father of Lights. I was there and it was amazing, and it's so exciting to see the vision that God gave Summer come to fruition, because she told me about all these things many years ago, and like it's an indescribable feeling. And I just don't even really know how to talk about how it impacted me to see exactly what she talked about God bring to life before our eyes. So I'm so glad you're here, Summer.
Thank you so much, Erica, and thank you for being at that event. That meant a lot to me. Thank you for coming.
Awesome. I'm sorry I did not make it, but I'm looking forward to the next one.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well, a couple of resources we have. Again, if you go to missionsfriends.com, you'll see grants that are posted, partnership opportunities, volunteer opportunities, stories, and much more. Again, Missions Friend is a space for charitable people to connect, whether you're a leader of a network, a church, a nonprofit, whether you're a volunteer, or whether you're a missionary. We have a space for you to share, be equipped, and be celebrated. Next, I'm hoping you guys can see my screen, nod your heads. All right, cool. So this is our annual charity challenge. And this is where we get to bless and celebrate nonprofits in the area, in the state of Michigan. And so if you would like to please nominate yourselves or get your people to nominate you as well, your fans, your followers, and we are hoping to be able to bless a nonprofit with $1,000 donation. And so this happens every year. Well, this is year 2. And it happens throughout the time until the actual date of the live voting. You can nominate your nonprofit. The ones with the most nominations get bumped to the top of the list when it comes to the live vote that happens on August 26th. And so also on August 26th, I don't know if you see the photo, but that's last year's winner, Casa for Kids. They got the $1,000 donation. And then we had a 360 photo booth, and Thrivent was the sponsor last year as well. They're in the photos. And so this is happening. The live vote happens at the Lansing Bless Fest, and the Lansing Bless Fest is also that day from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. The charity challenge is what we kind of call it, but the charity challenge is not just the live voting, but the live voting is one portion. The other portion on the day of the Bless Fest is we have the charity challenge activities and games. And so that's simply, well, if you come to the Lansing Bless Fest in person, you'll be able to encounter those games and challenges that are provided by nonprofits that are fun ways to learn how to volunteer and serve your community. Additionally, you can sign up for volunteer opportunities at the Bless Fest event in the charity challenge portion. And then additionally, if you're not able to attend in person, you'll still be able to vote live. But we also have an online charity game that you can play, a fun way to help you find ways to serve your community. And so that game is created by Missions Field in particular. And so with that being said, I'm gonna just quickly have a quick video. When I say quick, I mean like 2 minutes. I'm gonna play just to advertise the Lansing Bless Fest, which is an arts event and a charity event for the community to come together. I think 2,000 people come every year. Can you guys hear the music? If you can't, that's okay. It's just music. But people transfer. This year will be the 20th year. But this is some footage. Again, that's the whole area of the Adado Riverfront Park. There's concerts, bounce houses, free food, free clothing, free backpacks. There's so many different things like free haircuts, free prayer. That'd be crazy if you pay for prayer. But this is also just that was a charity challenge you saw just then. And so again, it's just a fun, family-friendly entertainment, charitable event. You saw my face just walk across the screen. And then, yeah, there's a lot to do. There's face painting and a lot of just opportunities to love on people. And so what the charity challenge in particular does is we provide additional ways, not just to receive things, but we provide opportunities to volunteer to give to other people in need. And so if you also are an organization that wants to be a vendor, there's free vending available. You can either go to it's mediamessengers.com is a website, but we'll send that link out. So you can either be a vendor or just simply be a volunteer at the festival itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video, because if you want to learn more, you can definitely check out the website. And so next, last thing is this is just what Missions Friends look like. When you go on there, you can also book a consultation on the website to get connected to ways to serve more people through your church or organization. If you see the circle where that says book a consultant, you can do it from that button, or you can contact one of us and we'll make it happen. And so, yeah, there's so much more to share, but I'm going to move forward and then we're going to kind of come to a close. Unless Eric, you have anything else you want to share before you do that?
I don't have anything else. Shall I get started with this empower part?
Sure.
Okay. We're gonna, for empowering, we share stories because stories are inspiring and encouraging, and they're a good way for us to share how God's working in our lives, using us to work in others' lives, and transforming our community. So next slide, please. We're gonna do a short breakout, and we're each gonna have a partner. And with your partner, you can take 2 minutes to share either the following or both. This is just kind of an idea. We want to get you connecting and sharing stories. So you can share one thing that you plan to do with what you've learned from what Pastor Tom shared today, or one recent outreach testimony that you've experienced. So Adam's gonna porthole us or whatever. He's gonna warp us into some breakout rooms, and just take a few minutes to share with your partner, and then give your partner a couple minutes to share. We'll meet back here in 5 minutes, and please be prepared to share some highlights of your partner's story if they have some good ones. Okay, thanks.
So yeah, so we're going to say a short prayer for the laborers, as Matthew, I forgot the word scripture, but it's usually on the slide. And so we're going to say a prayer that the laborers, the scriptures particularly talks about. I'm asking God to send laborers as the harvest is plentiful. We also want to pray for the current laborers as well, that they be equipped and empowered to do the work. And so, and if anyone else wants to jump in after I pray, please feel free. So, Father, we just thank you, Lord God, as you continually, Lord God, give us the gifts of new blessings, of a new day, of a new reason to smile. And we just thank you, God, that, Lord God, as we continue, Lord God, just to receive your blessings, Lord God, you will also help us to draw closer to who you are and reveal to us, Lord God, what our mission is as we are in the fields. And so we just ask, Lord God, at this meeting, that this message, that it will go out and inspire and encourage others. And these resources will also be a way to equip others to do the work. And also there'll be more partnerships with the professionals and nonprofits, agencies. There'll be more opportunities, Lord God, as well, so that we can work together to impact all families in our communities. And so also we ask, Lord, as those who are the laborers, that they will be find ways to be celebrated and be affirmed in their calling to do the good work of the Great Commission. We just ask, Father, Lord God, that you would give them, even today, find ways, creative ways, innovative ways to see themselves as creatives, and also to help them find innovative ways to reach people, as we learn how to reach those in the arts through this meeting that we had. Lord God, we find also, Lord God, that, Lord God, we ask, Lord God, that you will also equip us, Lord God, to be more mindful of those who may not notice in the space that we're in. And so, in Jesus' name, Lord God, those laborers be equipped, empowered, and blessed today.
Amen.
All right. There's no one else that has anything else to share. We're going to come to a close. Thank you guys for just doing what you guys do in the arts community as well. I'm looking forward to helping the consultant and others work together to help you guys have more team members, really, when it comes to that, when it comes to those who may want to find ways to work as, like you said, your staff, you said you need some more staff. Or partner with Sycamore Creek to help you guys reach more artists as well. So I'm looking forward to that and ways that we can celebrate. And even at the end of this year, we're hoping to have a publication to kind of report out again how the church has impacted the arts in other areas of our community sectors and so forth. And so, yeah. Feel free to reach out to me after too, if you guys want to talk. Anything.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Adam.
Good day. Thanks, Pastor Tom. See you soon, Summer.
Okay, bye, Erica.